Hello, Yasmine. How you doing today,
Hi,
this week?
I'm very good, very busy. I have a listing coming up tomorrow, but I'm excited to get this interruption with you. So
Yes,
here we
yes.
go.
It's always great to meet. I love having different markets, different perspectives, and that's why we have this unfiltered opportunity. I have here. I'm dealing with buyers, and I think I assume you are, but dealing with buyers that are kind of hesitant, that are holding back, and that they want to wait, they want to delay. And where I'm struggling a little bit is sometimes I agree with them. Sometimes I'm like, you really should hold back.
Absolutely. Yes, I hear you.
Yes.
Me too.
And other times I'm like, no, no, no. It is time for you to pull the trigger and pull the trigger now. And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that hesitant buyer that is holding back?
I feel this market is quite intense. It's not really that personally, I continue to guide. That's all we can do. I think AI right now is not doing us any favors. And I have to openly say this that, I think our profession is questioned and analyzed more than ever. I had a moment this week where I thought, why am I even here? I'm really just a facilitator because my opinion is not really wanted.
Right.
So, anyways, but when it comes to buyers, I agree with you. Excuse me, I agree with you that it's important for us to continue to guide, to say, okay, look at, let's analyze the house you like. This is what it sold for, last. This is where we are today. This is what neighboring homes sell for. And where do you see yourself? I asked them right out the gate because why would I bring up my opinion if they have already formed one? So I just kind of go into the position of, oh, what are your thoughts? I'm sure that you have looked at the comps already on the internet or via GPT, and I'm sure you have your opinion. And so why don't we start there? Why don't you share what you have already researched? Since you love the house, I assume you have, and then you wait. And if they say, oh no, we completely trust you, well, that's best case scenario.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing that I think is a surprise to some people, because so many people believe before we had AI, so many people believed Google, what Google said, but Google was not near as deep and as analytical and as what do you want to say? The explanation was not near as extensive in any given topic as AI is. But the other day, I've done multiple searches with AI where they were just flat out wrong.
Mm,
And I've literally gone to the AI and said, "You're wrong. You're just wrong. You need to go do more research. You need to go gather more information." And it does, and it comes back and says, "Oh, you are correct. I was mistaken," and so forth. And here's the thing that kind of freaks me out about that a little bit, or makes me a little stressed. If you didn't know, if you were completely uneducated in a given topic, how would you know to push back on the AI? You'd walk away thinking this is 100% accurate. AI said it and it's all accurate. It's only when you know the facts, maybe you don't know every single detail, but you know the bottom line. Here's the right answer, and it tells you something different. Then you know it's wrong.
yeah,
It's just wrong.
exactly. And that's, I think, what we are confronted with. Because then now I have to say to my sellers or buyers, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this is your research, and this is what you received from GPT or Claude, whoever. And did you push back? How are you treating it? Does it know the area? Does it, have you talked to GPT as if you are living there, or are you acting like a tourist?
Right.
There are so many things that we kind of need to keep in mind and need to teach them. And I'm really happy that we are talking today because that's something that I'm going to discuss with my sellers. It's like you have to make sure that you are not manipulating AI to get what you want.
Well, and AI, and here's what I've had to give you just another simple example. My VA, my virtual assistant, not the one that we mutually work with, totally different ones. VA, and I have my color palette, meaning relative to my marketing and everything else. Here's the colors that I have. Well, they went out to AI and asked AI what is the best color configuration for luxury. I'm a luxury agent. What's the best color configuration for luxury? It came back with 6 colors that I should be doing business with. And I said, no. You tell it, does it really make sense? Just ask it a question. Leave it open ended. Ask it a question. Does it really make sense for a brand to have 6 colors for its marketing? And it came back and goes, no. Well, then why did you tell me that? And so it's
I know. I know.
I'm just I know these examples aren't applicable to exactly what we're talking about, but it's applicable to show AI cannot be trusted. AI is best utilized for people that are somewhat educated, like an engineer. Let's say an electrical engineer wants some information relative to a given project. For him to go into AI and ask some questions and get answers, it makes sense because he already knows the underlying answers. You know what I mean?
Shopping. It's
Yes,
really good for shopping. Give me the best price for a certain pair of shoes, or, but when it comes to the deep dive where you actually hire a professional on the ground, this is where I'm just struggling. I'm like, but with, again, back to buyers, I think buyers have every right to question everything right now,
yes.
considering that they still feel they should have an interest rate of at least 3%, even though they are adjusting to the new reality of 6% or higher or a little bit lower, depending on what they want to do. But I think lenders also need to be a lot more engaged, advising clients. There are so many loan options now, but that's another subject. And, helping clients to pull the trigger. I don't think we have a choice other than hearing what their thought is, providing our feedback on why we think differently, and then let them come up with how they want to proceed.
Well, the thing I really find is most buyers, they're hesitating. They hesitate. They're not saying no. They're saying it's like they're protecting themselves from regret, is really what their concern is.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
protecting themselves from regret. And once you realize that, then it becomes they need to be informed. And that's why they're turning to AI. That's why they're turning to things. They just want to be informed. And what I have found most of the time, some people are just very unrealistic, but that's few. It's really not that many. The majority of the population, when they come to me, and even if they have AI and everything else, and I explain to them and show them whether it's pricing, whether it's the area, whatever it is, if I can explain it to them, they'll they're open. They're open to the dialogue. They're open to the information. And so I think that's really on us more than ever before is us bringing clarity to the transaction, whether it's for the documents, the contract itself, the terms, or whether it's the buying process as far as where they want to move, what they're looking for. Give you a real life example. I had a client. Oh, this was a tough one because this gal, first time home buyer, she wants to buy in a very specific area. Okay, we go and we're looking at existing homes, and they all needed from her standpoint of view, meaning what she wanted, they didn't match what she wanted. And I started realizing she wants new construction. There's only one builder in that area that has a program that is specifically designed for first time home buyers, to where pricing and everything else, they're on the least less expensive. But here's the reason why they can keep costs down is they design the house, meaning the colors and everything else. You cannot change a thing. It is this color, this, and their townhomes, and you have no say. It is zero change. This is it. Take it or leave it. And so we went over there and looked. and she found a unit that she just absolutely loved. And we were in there for a little bit of time, and she's looking at it and everything else. And I was dying, and you know why I'm dying, because she wants this exact unit. So I called up the builder right away, and I said, "Hey, we're in here." It went under contract hours before this, and she is sold on this property.
Oh,
And I told her it's under contract, and she was just
pinched.
unconsolable, unconsolable, absolutely so upset. And so then I start looking for, and I got to understand, this was an end unit. There's only so many end units, this color palette, everything. And she had all of this criteria that now was required because she'd seen it. I want it,
Oh,
I want it, I want it.
yeah.
So I go looking for it. I can't find it. It doesn't exist. So I let her settle down a little bit. And then I called her, gave her a few days just to chill out. And then I called her and I said, "Look, what I want you to do is I want you to take that list of items that you are requiring." She said, "Yes." And I said, put them in order of priority. And if we find the top two, you have got to write an offer. And I was hoping the top two would be structural, because you can change almost anything else. But
Yes.
if the top two are structural, and sure enough, the top two were structural. So I got on the phone, started calling the builder. What do you got coming down the pipe? And so forth, so forth, so forth. We found the top three. We found the top
Oh,
three. And I said, "Look, here's how." And then I got bids on how much it would cost to change the hardware. How much would it cost to paint the cabinets? How much would it cost for this and this? So we're going under contract. And get this, the builder said, "Well, okay, this is the unit that will match what she's looking for, mostly." And they said, "But we will not allow you to go under contract until four-way." And I
four
said,
way.
"Yeah." In other words, it's got to be pretty much built before they'll even offer it to be go under
Uh,
contract. And I said, "No, unacceptable." And they said, "Well, that's our policy." I said, "It's time for you to change your policy. My client is going under contract right now, today. We're buying that unit. We're going under contract on that unit." And they said, "Well, we'll have to talk to the owners." And I said, "Go talk to them, because we're going under contract." And they complied. They came back and
oh,
they said, all right, we will go under contract with you on this unit. And I'm so excited.
oh,
But my point is that we as agents now, all of a sudden, there's more responsibility to bring clarity and understanding, and to go find it and to educate our clients, because she was going to demand this entire list. But after I explained to her everything, and then I put costs with the rest, for less than $2,000, she could
oh,
change everything out the way she wanted it.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's all education. It's all explanation. It's all bringing clarity. And I think
Right.
that's really the big thing that we have to do, is bring that clarity for most of the population. Sometimes you still end up with those people that are just, no matter what, you, and those people, I just don't like working with them, quite frankly.
I know. I know. It's really it's getting to the point. I feel the same. More than ever, I really look at the client and see how they interact with me prior to myself signing any buyer broker agreement or any
Yeah,
listing agreement, because it's so tough.
right.
And, I mean, both of us have been in the business for over 25 years. And yeah, maybe some people are saying, well, you've been doing this for so long. Maybe you're living in the past or so. That's where it comes in, that we have coaching, that we have masterminds, that we are more on the cutting edge than 95% of agents out there right now. So it's kind of that's why I'm so happy that we have the coaching and the masterminds to keep us ahead of everybody else. And I think those masterminds, you have to have a certain amount of experience before you get invited into those. So it's kind of nice that there are some opportunities for us that other agents don't have.
But even my coaches tell me, they say, "Todd, at your age, 99% of the people your age are not even open to looking at any of this. So as a whole, I hate to say it, but as a whole, their clients are right. 90% of them out there are living in the past, aren't living in the present. And I'm just embracing the technology, like, and they tell me that they're going, the way you embrace things and the way you're doing things is,
Yes.
and you're the same way. I mean, bottom line is we're young at heart. No matter what our age is, we're young at heart, and I think
Yes.
I think both of us love what we do. I love interacting with people. I love serving them. I love helping them win. It's just such a
Same.
passion. Yeah,
Yes. Me too. I am
awesome.
very passionate. It's just, like you said, it's a little bit more challenging at times. I feel like I constantly, not constantly, right now is a stressful time for me with multiple clients, but I'm like, I felt at times that I constantly have to what is it called? To prove my worth.
Right.
And that's something that I don't like.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
But
and and
anyways,
Yeah, no, no, totally. And I'm with you. I mean, really, it wasn't that many years ago having Google reviews and everything else. I didn't care. I didn't care whether I had them or not because it didn't matter. My relationship was my relationship, and that's all that mattered was that relationship and getting referrals from those relationships and so forth. Boy, has time changed. And I really think that the time where I saw everything really shift was COVID. When COVID hit, it just seems like so much just
yeah,
changed overnight. Do you agree?
very true. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
So anyway,
I mean, COVID messed with us. It's like the whole mess, right? And then I think it's actually post COVID when, from one day to the next, everything changed, right? We went from 2% to 7%. And the market, I mean, at least here, the market came to a complete standstill for weeks, nothing. And I think that was the turning point for the entire real estate community.
yeah, and really many aspects of the business world, real
Yeah.
estate. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, again, love your
Anyways,
insights, love your
thank you.
perspective, and
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you next week.
Me too. Bye.